hopefully you being here next time. Okay. Shall we get right back into this then?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Yes, you sound so enthusiastic by that.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad we have most of the gang back together today. I've been looking forward to the next steps in what is to come. Our party of adventurers, Cat K, Curve, Romulus, and Vinny, alongside their new acquaintance, Corsair, had, had begun the process of tracking down, defeating, and in Cat's case, destroying, all traces of a bandit organization that seemed to be known as the Skull Bandits. After their plan to try along the roadway, the party were beset by demonic entities and dwarven demon bloods, who were out for, well, their heads, it would seem, in the night's air. Thwarting the ambush and heading northward, leaving everything behind, the party prepared to rest once more out in the wilderness amongst some trees before another group of bandits came through. This time, however, they were the ones who would spring the trap on them, making an opening to annihilate as many of them as possible. That is where we pick up at. The night's chill air rolling across the horizon and the aggressive explosion of an elemental detonation shakes the air around each of you. After watching a number of them collapse to the ground and much more from each of you, as you are now more aware of their tricks than before, you spring your trap, striking down a number of them, and we begin back at the top of the initiative order on our second round of combat. Okay, I believe that means you take it away.
Indeed. Um, so I don't really have anything to help with those guys there, so what I am going to do is I am just going to run up to this guy and
Mm-hmm.
attack.
Okay. Go ahead and make me the attack roll, then, please. Okay. So your totals to hit, or what's your
Uh,
lowest? You
the
should hit, I believe.
lowest. Let's see, uh, the lowest is a 20.
20? Okay. Yeah, you definitely hits. So, first lot of damage.
1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2.
1 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2. Okay.
These two plus 4
So,
attacks.
the 1 plus 4, which is piercing damage, goes straight through. Your poison damage seems to be doing not as much as you would hoped, and the cold damage goes through as normal. Okay, and the second attack did how much damage?
3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2.
Okay, 3 plus 4 plus 1, and then plus 2. Okay, and that is a tail and claw attack.
Yes.
Okay,
I don't know
strike.
if I bit these things yet, so I'm gonna try it. But
Okay, go for it.
look, I'm going to try it because you never know.
That's true.
This one might be the exception to the damage.
I have to see.
Well, not exception to damage, but I might get something.
I see.
As in that
Well,
20.
extra 20. Roll an extra. Okay, so 7.
7
Uh,
plus 4
plus
plus
4.
2.
Plus
Well,
2.
plus
Okay.
1 plus 2.
Okay. I will say with the natural 20, as you bite, you do not take any damage from the black blood that would otherwise be affecting you quite poorly in this instance. But you do not gain anything either, as they have nothing to give.
Worth a shot.
Okay.
And...
I believe that's the end of your turn. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. They're going to keep running, so they go an extra extra distance, so they are 180 feet away currently.
Literally.
Okay. Vinny, Romulus, Corsair, and the green belly butcher all going on the same time. So we start with Vinny.
Okay. I'm gonna attempt to chase down these ones then. So I'm going to
Okay.
move and then bonus action dash.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And that puts you just before... Oh, wait, 30, 40, 45, 50. So 50 puts you in line with where one of their tiles would have been. And then how much extra movement would you have? And do you say your bonus action dashing as well?
Yeah, so that takes me another.
So that takes you... You are 40 away from them. Okay, so you're 140 feet away from them currently.
Wait, how do you...
You moved 50 to get to this spot here, and you had 40 feet of movement left over. So that's how far up you are, and they're 180 feet away from where you would currently be standing.
If I move and then... I mean, my speed is 30.
30, 35, 40, 45. So you moved 50, correct? 50 feet?
Not without... Not before dashing. Like, total I can move 60 by moving and then bonus action dashing.
Yeah.
So 40, and then...
Oh, you're not action dashing, sorry.
I can't do anything if I action dash.
Ah, sorry, I misunderstood.
Because
In which case,
I go 90 feet and they also go 90 feet, so I achieve
yeah,
nothing.
okay, in which case then you are 10, so they are 170 feet away.
Okay, that's outside the optimal range of my short bow, but I will try anyway, because my maximum range is going to last for a little bit.
Okay, so go ahead and make me an attack roll disadvantage. This is versus...
I'll just be shooting whichever one's closest.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's this blue one.
Okay, give me the attack roll. Yeah.
No.
You fire the arrow into the dark, it disappears off, and you're unsure if it hit or missed.
Unfortunate.
Okay. So that's your action, bonus action, and movement. So, moving on to Romulus, who is not raging, I believe. He's not going to rage, he's just going to swing. I should probably get Romulus's character sheet up, seeing as I'm playing as in this session. So he'll make one swing versus the belly butcher who's next to him, and miss. He'll then try his second swing, and miss. And get annoyed at me because he misses twice because I'm playing him. And then he's going to horns attack, and it'll hit. So he'll do a d6 damage. 5 points of piercing damage. Oh, that's more like Romulus. Okay. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Okay, and that one is very much on death's door currently. Okay. End of Romulus's turn. Corsair is going to make an attack with his weapon. That, unfortunately, is a miss from him. So he's going to move around to give himself flanking so that he gets an additional +3. So hopefully he hits. That hits. And with his flat damage, that means that this one is down. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And he's going to stop there. And he's going to make an attack. I've also just realised that he should have been making these with disadvantage. So I'll actually roll again for that second one. Still hits. No, he can't. Because he's not got a light weapon. So he's just going to move there and he's going to hold his bonus actions to do nothing. Because he's not got anything to do with it. So, end of his go. Green is dead. Let's remove that from the initiative order. Red Belly Butcher's turn. Red Belly Butcher, seeing what's going on, is going to take... It's going to move here to begin with. is then going to take one swing versus Corsair and another one versus Romulus. First attack versus Corsair. Hits. Doing... Ooh. 11 points of slashing damage versus Corsair. Which Corsair is not happy about. And then the attack versus Romulus is going to hit versus Romulus. And... yep. So then that does 14 points of damage to Romulus. Okay, that is the end of that Belly Butcher's go. Cat, you're up. With Curve, you'll be up next.
Okay. Oh God, what do? I know that they've pretty much got this covered. Logistically, as much as I begrudgingly hate it, is it possible to give Vinny a lift?
You would be moving slower than he would be if he uses his bonus action and his action to dash.
I guess he can't use a bonus action to do another attack.
No.
Okay, right. Oh, in that case then.
No, and he'd be using your speed instead of his own. It wouldn't work as a double move, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, well, I guess, yeah, fair. Like I say, because if I am focusing on just dashing, so I'll be doing 80 foot movement, where if he's just dashing with his bonus action, he's doing 60?
With just his
correct,
bonus
yeah.
action, yeah.
So if he could ride, then I'd be doing 20 more than he can do on his own.
We'd
Yeah.
still be losing ground, though.
He'll still be losing ground, but not as quickly. Might get an
What
extra hit.
is your strength cap?
My strength isn't great, but I didn't know if I could ride. He could jump on.
You are classed as
It's
one
8.
size larger. There will be athletics check for each time you dash if you're going to carry somebody on top of you who isn't small.
Okay, what's athletic?
DC's not going to be high. DC's going to be 10, but keep that in mind for if you want to do this.
Okay, as Vinny's going to be involved in this, what do you think? Worth a try?
I'm happy to try. I mean, we'd need to be following them for a while to take them down, but
Okay. Well, if we're going to give it a
if
shot.
you yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35...
35. I'll say reaction Vinny gets on.
Okay, so then I've got... With my action, I've then got 45 more movement.
Okay, make me an athletics check then, please.
Yeah, I also have a Tides of Chaos should I need it.
Okay, well, the athletics check is DC 10. This is just going to be carrying someone, because feasibly it's possible, you're just not the strongest.
Yeah, Tides of Chaos.
Tides of Chaos?
That.
Okay.
Oh, that's still an 8. Jesus.
That's still an 8. Okay. So, as you pick up Vinny and try to sprint forward as best you can, I'll say you only get the extra 15 feet instead, or extra 20 feet instead of 40. So you go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So you would be... actually, no, because you need to still catch up with Vinny, who's 10 feet ahead of this spot. So...
I had 45 when I met Vinny.
Yeah. Yes, but that's just his tile there. He was 10
of
feet
course,
ahead
yes,
of that.
Right.
So in this
Okay.
instance, you would now be 20 feet ahead.
Okay.
So you are within 160 of that.
Okay, well, I will do my best to try and keep up. Sure, I can't roll below 10 every time.
Okay.
And that'll probably be my turn. I don't think there's anything else I can do.
Bonus action, anything?
No, just having a quick little cheeky look. Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Nope, that's it.
Curve, you're up. Currently, you see before you the casually rolling hillside, gentle grasses, a dwarf who is glowing off in the distance due to fairy fire, and a butcher who's currently attacking two individuals in the dark, making it a bit difficult to see.
Okay, so this yellow token, that means burning fairy fire.
They're bright. Yeah, very fire.
Are they still trying to attack us? Sorry.
You're currently unsure, but they
Okay,
seem to be being aggressive of some form.
because I'm worried that they're going to make a run for it as well. Because they're further off. If you get me.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is to be able to move as far as I can, sort of northwards after Vinny and Cat, but also be able to do an attack against this guy. So I appreciate I won't be able to run as far, but
15, 20, 25, 30. So you can get there without spending your action.
okie
And that
dokes.
gets you within. That gets you within 70 feet of the individual.
Okay. Well, my Eldritch Blast, I believe, is 120, so I'll be fine.
Okay. So you can make Eldritch Blast attacks against them, yeah?
Yeah, I would like to do an Eldritch Blast. I have to roll dice.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
You have
You
an
have
advantage
advantage
because of Fairy Fire. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Deals 2 d10s plus 4.
Mhm. And I will say he is not looking particularly great. A stiff wind will knock him over. So do you want to fire both of them at him? Do you want to split them? How do you want to do this?
Oh, so I can do one Eldritch Blast at him and then...
One at the belly butcher if you wanted to. That's up to you. If you want to guarantee the kill, then...
I'm going to guarantee the kill, I think, and because I wouldn't want to risk hitting Kay or anything as well.
Okay, go ahead and make me an attack roll then, please. With advantage. This will be for the first one. Yep, that will hit. And go ahead and roll me the damage. It's a d10.
Oh, I thought it was
So
2d10.
it's just 2d10 because it's two separate bolts. Either way, his 2 health is gone. As you fire off your Eldritch Blast, otherwise throwing it forward, the shadowy crow-like claw reaching out, grabbing him and tearing what essence from him there is left. As he is now down. I'm going to assume you're not going to keep Fairy Fire concentrated because it's irrelevant now. But I'll leave it there just in case. I don't know. Okay. So that's your action and your movement. Do you have a bonus action at all?
Am I able to bonus action to dash further?
No, that's a rogue thing.
I see. Okay. To be honest, I don't think there's much more I can do here.
Okay. Okay, you're up. Okay. Suds.
Sorry,
Someone.
somebody was talking.
Yes, it was me. Your turn.
Oh, it's my turn already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know our turns usually take exceptionally long. I'm trying to be faster.
okay.
Kay's just trying to take a nap on the battlefield. It's alright.
Classic.
No,
Kate.
Kay's hungry. He can't get anything from these guys. So it
Nope.
sucks. Just gonna go to town on this guy. No bite, because I'm not trying to hurt myself no more.
Okay. Go ahead and make me the appropriate attack rolls. Hits and hits. So that does
6 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2. And 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2.
10 plus 3, so 13 damage on that first hit. And then it was 3, 4 plus that, so that's 10 damage on the second hit. Okay. Taking the 2 swings, the tail jabbing in, otherwise puncturing in as a gout of black blood, otherwise spurts out of their chest before a raking claw goes across the side, leaving these deep wounds through the flesh, which looks like it's almost rotting to your claw touch. Okay. And you won't get a bonus action bite. You can still bonus action claw attack. You just obviously don't do the bite effect.
Oh, I'll just do a claw then.
Yeah, your bonus action doesn't have to be bite. It can be claw as an alternative.
Oh,
That
so close.
also hits, I believe. Total?
It's 15.
Yep, that hits. And that's 1 plus 4 plus
1.
3. So 5 plus 3, so that's 8 damage. Okay. Okay, taking a swing and otherwise tearing into it bit by bit. Move on to the next one. These guys move, you do not know how far. You do, however, lose line of sight of them. Okay. Vinny.
Okay, I'm riding on Cat at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in range. I can't see them currently, but
Nope.
I may soon be able to. So I'm gonna hold. I'm going to hold my action to fire the short bow again.
Okay.
If any of them come in range.
Romulus, on his turn, seeing that this Belly Butcher is quite weak, is going to Reckless. He's going to make 2 attacks with the additional flanking bonus. Hits. And hits. Okay, yeah, with those rolls, yeah, it's down. As that one's carved up, he looks out, seeing what's happening. Also, he moves. But he's still his big... Oh, that's right, he's his big self from his rune that he used. I forgot, so he's supposed to have done additional damage in there. Oh, well, he one-shot the things that it mattered for anyway. Okay. But if he's not here, I'm not going to play it correctly. I'm sorry. Corsair can't see anything, so Corsair is just going to go like, is that all of them? And kind of helplessly look around in the dark. Belly Butcher's dead. Cat.
Mm-hmm.
You dashing forward?
Yes, I am.
Make me an athletics check, please.
Come on. Why do you hate me?
I'll give you Tides of Chaos if you roll that wild magic.
Yeah, you know what? Sure.
Go on
Sure.
then. Oh no, you don't roll that. It triggers. You just roll the D100.
Yeah, you're going to give me time. Oh, right. Okay, well, I'll move my dice over here for the fun of it anyway.
Oh boy.
Well, actually, it's a 10, so...
The reroll succeeds. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's also a 28, so... I'm sorry, getting blasted? Question mark?
Okay. No, this changes a lot. As you're walking, Vinny, Kat's beginning to like talk to you, and her voice begins to pick up speed, speaking far faster than she should be able to. For the next minute, all of your spells that have a cast time of an action are now made to a bonus action. So you may now cast a spell if you wish.
Okay.
And you're 100 feet up, and they, as they come within range, are only 240 feet ahead. As they tried to hide, rolling a natural 1, a 13, and a 3. So they didn't succeed.
Okay. So I
So
can
they
cast
are
a
now...
spell.
You can now elemental detonation, yeah. They are more spread out than before, so you can only really hit 2 of them at a time. I'm
If
just
I
not going to
recall
bother to
rightly,
move them.
I'm pretty sure they've all got a linked health. But I'm going for the 2 anyway.
Yeah, there's something funky going
I'll
on.
just turn around to Finn. Hang on a second. And I'm going to pull out the last crystal from my rune and launch it their direction.
Okay, roll me wild magic, and then I will roll saves for the 2 of them. The one who isn't getting hit is going to be able to use their bonus action in response to this.
Okay.
That's fine.
Rightio.
Okay. So 2 of them are going to... Actually, no, I'll have 2 of them use their bonus action to this to give them advantage on this saving throw. As you watch as 2 of them begin to flicker with the casting of magic here.
Okay. It's DC
So,
16.
these are dex saves. DC 16. Okay, so that's a natural 20 because of the advantage. So I'll be taking half damage from whatever your damage is. And the other one is a total of 18, so they both succeed. So go ahead and roll me your damage. And then let's see what the damage type is from this.
The most there is of
One.
is one, which is fire.
Fire damage. Okay. So that does 22 points of fire damage, which as it goes off in their vicinity, with the two of them succeeding, you note that it otherwise reflects off of their skin, not doing nearly as much as you had hoped, as it is halved again as they are resistant. However, they have a shared hit point pool, so they take 10 damage overall.
Can I make my reaction attack as well now?
Yes, you may. There's a disadvantage still because it's out of the.
Yep.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, 80 feet is the optimal range.
Mhm. Ah, I see. No. If you otherwise fire the arrow. Okay, I'll give you a choice here with a natural one. Either your short bow's string will snap, meaning you'll need to purchase a new one back in town, or have Romulus fashion you a new one from an animal you're going to have to catch.
Oh, tendons.
Or the arrow skews at the last minute and goes into the back of your left hand, giving you disadvantage on all attack rolls until you finish a short rest. You'll also take the damage from that second one, I will say.
I guess I'll lose the bow. It's not doing me very much.
Okay.
I'll have to
The
prepare.
string otherwise snaps, the arrow falling to one side, but it's recoverable. As the string snaps, you otherwise look at the short bow. That's your options out, I'm afraid. Okay. Moving past Cat Cove, I don't think there's much you can do in this scenario unless you've got any magic up your sleeve you could use here.
I mean, nothing in range, is it? So, if it's alright, I want
Not
to
really.
keep going further up as far as
Okay.
I can.
Okay. So just following and trying to keep pace as best as you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't imagine there's anything you can do unless you've got some long range teleport ability I don't know about.
Please, please. Please,
Actually,
Bella.
you remember that spell blade that I ate that has that knife that I can throw? Yeah, I got that.
You can only throw a knife a maximum 60 feet. Got it. Alright. Moving back onto Vinny then. Do you want to just dismount from Cat and give Cat the opportunity to try something here?
Oh yeah, 'cause his bow's broken.
Yeah, I'll do you know what, I'll dismount and run alongside since
Okay.
I may as well
So
be
you'll keep
full
pace but
action.
not hinder.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll just skip past all that. Cat, they have dashed by the looks of it, but if you were to dash using your action, you can get within 150 feet of them again.
Okay. The end of my last turn, because I didn't use my bonus action because we went straight into his reaction. I wanted to put
Your
charge in.
your bonus action would have been
yeah, it
to
was used
use
to
the
cast the spell,
destination.
yes.
Yeah.
No.
So this will be if you can cast any physical spell here, which
Okay.
has a range of 150 feet. You can
It
do stuff.
does.
Otherwise,
Okay.
otherwise
alright.
at this point it will start to peel away.
Okay, I have an expensive, but I can do it. Actually, hang on a second. Give me a minute. Huh. You know what? I can give us another round of doing damage if they do escape. It's gonna cost me, but I can do it. Alright, I'm going to charge up. I am going to cast Elemental Detonation.
Okay.
With the Banish rune.
Okay.
That'll give me a round to try and catch up with them. A little bit more.
Okay. So, as well as doing damage, you're going to try and banish them.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me wild magic, then please. Expend your spell slots, and if I remember correctly, you're under half, so the
This
DC
will
is
take me under half, yes.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and roll me the damage. They are again going to use their reactions for their Mirage abilities to give each other advantage on saving throws here.
That's fine.
First one
3.
succeeds. Second one, 16. Does that succeed?
16 is my thing, so yes.
So yes, so you okay. Most prominent number is 2 and 3.
It's
So you get
3,
to.
so it's acid.
Is it 3? It's 2 and 3. So you can choose between either.
Oh, okay. I'm going with 3, which is acid cover. I just looked. I'm currently trying to take. So it's 5. So that takes me to 17.
Okay. As you otherwise fire the elemental devastation out, how much damage is that again? Was it 22 again?
21.
21. Okay. As otherwise hits, both of them making their saves, that is reduced down to 10, and they are unfortunately also resistant to acid, so they only take another 10 damage. However, due to the banish rune, they have to make charisma saves in addition to this to see if they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is 1 success. That is a 19 on the success. And the second one is another good roll. That's a 21.
Oh.
So unfortunately, the banish rune fails.
Dang.
Okay. They are still up, injured, but they are running. So now with their current speed, if you can potentially give chase and have anything from 160 feet away. Otherwise, they're going to escape because they've learned their lesson from trying to hide.
Okay. Let me look at the. I'm pretty sure elemental detonation is the furthest to got at 150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it. I've pretty much exhausted.
Okay. So with that, unfortunately, due to with everything that happened there, as you otherwise wind down, I'll say the rest of the party catching up with you, or you returning to the rest of the party, these 3 mirror fiends escaped. Okay. So, with that, returning back to the rest of your party, what do you wish to do? No, stop that. Don't want to listen to this.
You okay there?
They escaped. I tried.
It's alright, you did what you could. Right. It seems pretty obvious what direction they were heading, though.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have a pretty good idea roughly where their base is.
Mm-hmm. Thing is, they're all going to be alerted to our presence coming to them now.
And they'll probably be much bigger in number.
Yeah, it depends then. Are they gonna turtle up, or are they gonna send a party out to look for us?
Well, I mean, if they send a party out to look for us, then that might work in our favour if we can find somewhere to hide while they leave. That'll be less in the camp.
I think if we go to the camp directly, they're going to have too many advantages. At least this way, it's like we're picking them off.
Yeah, I think we should divert our path a bit. And try and come at the camp from a bit of an angle.
Agreed. Okay.
And be mindful of an ambush. Keep an eye on the sky.
I will, Pat Jeff, but I'll do my best to keep an eye out.
Okay.
Can I check all the ones that have died? Are they just dead bodies on the floor, or did something magic happen?
They're currently turning to sludge.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, they do that.
What sort of time is it? Do we need to have a rest?
If I remember correctly, this interrupted your long rest that you were having.
Mm-hmm.
So currently it's just past midnight. So you're feeling exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to push yourself onwards without taking a rest, you're going to suffer points of exhaustion. Or risk the running suffering points of exhaustion.
Okay, well, we shouldn't stay here.
Mm,
We should,
no, we
yeah.
definitely need to move.
Yeah, we should head east or west for a little ways, and then find somewhere to camp out.
Looking or using Jeff to look, what looks more potential to host shelter, west or east?
From here. Let me just check my map real quick. Okay. Well, with where you currently are, east will have more trees to work with, putting you a little bit further towards Varganuk. Going west will put you closer towards the mountains, but that would require about half a day's worth of travel.
I'd say east then.
There's trees to the east
Yeah.
for some degree of shelter and cover.
Yeah, there's like large patches of woodland that are scattered throughout this area.
Should we head to the trees then?
Yeah, we'll head there and resume camp. We have a better idea of where we're heading for now.
Fair.
Okay.
Okay.
1 second.
That's all right.
East we shall head.
Okay. Heading a little ways east. It doesn't take you long to find. I'll say heading back to get your tents and stuff, which you left behind and didn't collect initially in order to pursue this ambush. You head back, gather up your tents and your things before heading westward, or before heading eastward, sorry, towards the tree lines.
I need to be back. Be right back. Just be a minute.
That's right. You head a little ways off to the west. Doesn't take you long before you otherwise arrive at an area which you find relatively suitable, and you otherwise begin to bed down for a second attempt at watch.
Cool.
So, do we want to keep watches in the same that they were beforehand?
Yeah, might as well.
Or do you want to adjust it? I believe it was
I think it was me and Vinny. Then
Curve. I'm going to put Curve and K and then Romulus and Corsair at the end because
yeah, that's fair.
Romulus isn't here to RP. So Curve, if you want to RP with K, then you're able to.
Mhm.
Oh, these are my spare tiles, so I'll just move them to one side. There are these concentration tokens and these ones here. Okay. Romulus shrinks back down to his regular size. Okay. So, taking first watch was Vinny and Cat.
Mhm.
So, I'm gonna roll to see if anything will what part of your watch, if anything, will happen, or who needs to roll for what. Okay. So, Vinny or Cat, if you would like to go ahead and give me a perception check, I'll do one for Vinny. Now, actually, before we do this, with regards to campfire, what are you doing?
Probably recreate what we had to start with, that oven sort of thing.
The oven?
Yeah, well, it was sheltered, so it didn't give off a whole lot of light. But enough to keep us warm.
Intense. I'm just gonna change this. This is way too intense music. Okay. To give you some intent, so to give you a little bit of warmth, but not too much as to give you away, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So recreating that doesn't take too long. Setting up the tent doesn't take too long. But as you're otherwise beginning to wait, light rain begins to hit the leaves around you, beginning to sodden the area around where you were. If there were any traces of potentially tracking individuals, unfortunately it has faded.
Well, that works the other way round as well.
Very true. So,
Right. And it was a perception you wanted to roll, right?
yes, please.
Shall I roll for me or shall I roll for Jeff and me?
Roll for Jeff and you. Remember, you roll disadvantage
I roll
because you are
disadvantage
using a
and Jeff
low
rolls
light
normal.
scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I roll. So I got a 6 and Jeff. Oh, hang on. I got a 6 plus.
Vinny got a 13.
No, so I got a 5 and Jeff got dirty 20.
Okay, so Jeff keeping a good eye out. Jeff is otherwise making sure everything's okay. Yours and Vinny's watch goes by fair uncontested. As we then move into Curve and K's.
Curve is sort of on the tired side, and unless Kay has something to talk about, she's just happy to sort of sit and watch.
Hey,
Sorry about that, I'm
okay
back.
with us being in the trees.
That's right. Okay, so K is up in the trees. Okay. And just for reference, Vinny, nothing happened during your watch.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, party is otherwise trying to get a long rest again. Okay. With that again, you two go ahead and make me perception checks again with disadvantage because you're working with dim light. Actually, no. I will say no. This is not with disadvantage at this point. So just take your leftmost dice. Because at this point, day and dawn is beginning to break, giving a little bit of light for you to work with.
Okay, that's a 14 plus
9.
16.
9. Okay, 16. From the trees, you're getting more peppered with rain than you are getting a good view, unfortunately. And Jeff seems to be keeping a good eye from above, so you feel confident in Jeff's abilities, although you never have done before. While Curve, you feel confident enough that it's quiet around here and there's nothing really going on. You don't have any immediate senses, there's nothing alerting you. You feel fairly confident. And then finally we move on to Romulus and Corsair's one. Now, because Romulus isn't here, would someone be so kind as to roll
Romulus.
a
dice.
D12 for me, please? And Romulus dice.
Is this a
D12 is the yellow one.
D12?
Okay,
We'll use
Corsair
the-
rolled high on his, as it is now
The
daytime.
D12 is 1 and he rolled a 3. Minus 20.
The D12 was a 1. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a second D12, please.
12. I'll just go for polar opposites, okay?
Okay. As you're otherwise keeping watch, Jeff alerts you as to the scenario. As what looks to be a large force of individuals is currently sweeping in your direction in a wide fan. We're talking 20 to 30 creatures.
Oh, oh crap. Right. Okay, I will. Who's in the tent with me at the moment? Let's just say Vinny, because we'll probably just.
I'd say it'll
plunge in
probably,
together.
yeah, probably be Vinny.
Okay, I will awake Vinny. Vinny, there's like
I say
20 to 30 creatures coming, and they're fanning out towards us.
I'll say Curve and Kay, you two are awoken by Corsair, who otherwise steps in and otherwise kind of shakes you both awake. We've got company.
No.
Gone are the days of long rests.
Did I at least get one of my spell slots back?
Nope. Well, I'll say no, because you went straight into a long rest instead of taking a short rest beforehand, which would have potentially changed up the formula. So
Oh,
in this
it's too
instance,
bad. I'd love
no.
to got my arcane recovery, but I don't.
No, in this instance, no, I'm afraid not.
Oh.
They're coming towards you. Whether they've noticed you yet, you are uncertain.
How well hidden are we?
right now you are in the middle of a woodland area, and what little smoke is currently trailing off of your heated fire is now more visible in the day.
Cool. I'm just gonna bury that.
Okay.
It's day enough now. We don't need to worry too much.
Yeah.
Um,
But your tents are currently up, and you're surrounded by trees. There is kind of low bush cover in the forest area around, and we're talking tall pine trees here. So, again, there's a possibility to climb and hide, but you don't know what you're dealing with. I'll say that. Do you look through Jeff's eyes, or are you just relying on what Jeff's giving
I
you?
am gonna look through Jeff's eyes.
Okay. Looking through Jeff's eyes, you can see in front what looks to be a wide, almost bow of about, as said, about 20 to 30 creatures or so. What looks to be about 5 of those big hulking pig figures, several others with those dragging arms that are otherwise walking behind them, kind of dragging their arms slowly. The others are all individual dwarves, no copies among them. And what looks to be one individual who stands out front, helmet off, a completely gruff, kind of dwarven textured skin to them, kind of a darker stone texture to them, with thick cracks that run through, filled with almost this smoky black magic that begins to otherwise run off of them as they walk forward, this very cruel and otherwise magically enchanted hammer at their side as they begin to walk forward. The individual in question standing out amongst the rest, but looking far more grizzled than the others, quite possibly a leader or a captain.
It seems they've brought some big guns. They've got a leader, but
You also note what looks to be about 5, 6 imps currently scouting the skies.
and there's a lot of scouts too. They know they're looking for us. I think it's gonna be hard to hide. They seem to be being quite thorough too. But there is a leader, and he's cracked. Yeah.
This isn't a good fight, given that we're all already tired.
No. Not at all. That's 2 very nearly complete long rests. Gosh darn it. Cry. Okay.
Is there another
Uh,
magic crow to tell us what to do?
Give me a perception check.
Come on, magic crows. Is this with like just normal?
This is just a regular roll, yeah.
Ooh. 19.
Looking around, there don't seem to be any crows in this part of the woods, unfortunately.
Ah.
You may have already exhausted your one freebie get out of jail free card.
Okay, how far away are they?
Maybe, given that you spotted them in the early light of like the morning, I'd say you can probably guess they're about 200 or so feet, but they're not running in your direction. They're slowly, methodically plodding forward, scanning the grass and the rest of the forest around as they begin to enter the edge of the woodland.
Okay.
They're scanning the area thoroughly and being careful and slow.
Okay, so they've just entered the wood. They are making sure to leave no rock unturned. I think if we try and do what we did last time, we would not get away with it.
We should move them. Can your friend cover our tracks like last time?
Yeah. I mean, there's no blood or anything. That was what Tula was cleaning last time.
Right, we
True,
should grab
if
our
you-
stuff. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Tula is a cleaner, So she would be creating a trail of prestidigitation, which would remove all of the leaf litter. So there would be a very clear and distinct trail of unleafleted dirt, which would then also potentially disappear with prestidigitation. So you'd be left with just like this really suddenly clean trail through the forest, were you
Okay.
to use Tula.
Very clean gravel.
Yes.
How autonomous can she be?
Quite. I mean, when I call her out, she can do what she pleases.
Can
has
she
a lot-
leave? Can she leave a path in one direction while we go off in another?
That's a very good point. Can she, Chris?
She can, but if she dies a certain distance away from you, the gem shatters. And that's expensive.
Yeah.
But that's relying on if she dies, because she'll then have to try and make her way back to you, and you don't have a telepathic bond at all. So she'll have to physically try and find you, which means you're going to have to try and catch a Tula in the wild, or she'll just get found and killed. And she's got 1 hit point, so...
I can try and use my rat to follow behind us to muddle a trail.
I mean, I could possibly use mold earth, but it'll take a lot longer, so there's not a whole lot of...
You'd be doing it 5 foot square at a time, unfortunately.
So that would be an exercise in futility.
Yeah, work.
Yeah, I'm not going to rush you with this, just because... In this scenario, if I rush you, you're, you could get caught.
Yeah, we should...
Although then again...
Yeah, we should travel off at an angle to the direction we came from. Ideally leaving a false trail carrying on in that direction, since that's what they'll be expecting to look for. But I don't know what the best way to achieve that is. If no one has any particular ideas, we can just grab our stuff and move and do as best we can with...
Corsair otherwise
Max,
looks
whatever.
at you and goes, I can try something. I can leave a false trail. But I was hoping to use this for the infiltration of the base. Because I didn't want to get seen. I have a scroll of invisibility. But I can leave a false trail and then just disappear. If we want to do that now, then that's fine. But if we get... But I won't be able to help. I won't be able to disappear in the base, and I'm quite obvious with this armor on. It just depends if you want to use it now or later. And I can catch up with you because I'll know whose tracks I'm looking for.
Well, we can't infiltrate the base until we've had a good rest. Otherwise, we're going to get demolished.
Or get to the base.
Yes.
We've got to get there first.
And the invisibility, that's just for you, isn't it?
Just for me, yes. But it means that I can leave a false trail and run being physically seen and then cast invisibility and disappear. Well, hopefully. I'm not used to using magic, so hopefully it'll work.
I mean, that would make sense, and can't see why it wouldn't.
I'm down for it, unless anyone has any ideas that don't.
At the moment, I
Require
don't
scrolls?
have any ideas. Outside of taking risks. But we definitely can't fight that number. And we don't even know what that leader is capable of. I mean, if he's got the abilities that I have, then this could get messy very fast.
Let's bide our time.
So what are you doing? You rushing off then? You rush off in one direction and Corsair goes in the other?
I think at the moment that's our only plan.
It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah, no one
Yeah,
can
unless...
listen.
Yeah,
Under the bus.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay. So Corsair will move off, and then I would like the rest of you to make. I will say you can make a party choice. You can either use stealth, survival, or athletics checks amongst you. I will be requiring more successes than I will failures.
Okay.
Or rather, if you hit 3 failures, which is more than half of the party, then you will automatically fail and your plan will fail.
Okay. My stealth is +3, survival's 2, and my athletics is -1.
Yeah. You will get one freebie with stealth if you're going to use with Corsair, with Corsair's plan. Or no,
Okay.
one freebie in general. Sorry.
My vote's for stealth.
We're all using the same.
All using the
Right.
same stat. Yeah. This
stealth
is basically a
continuing.
unison of do you want to hide, do you want to run, or do you want to leave false trails? Is what we're going for here.
I can do stuff.
I can stealth.
Okay. I would like everyone to make me stealth checks then, please. And there is one re-roll for you to decide who will get it amongst the party. So Romulus got a 15.
I got an 8 +5 +3. I've got 11.
Oi.
I have a 5 in total.
I have a 7 in total.
Okay, it's okay. If you succeed, then yep. So now we'll need. So there's one veto. Who wants to use it?
Who got the lowest?
Me with 5, I imagine.
Well, lowest isn't necessarily the main thing here.
Yeah, because
It's
it's pass
just
fail.
a
Because
failure.
it's just the person with the highest bonus. Because nobody rolled a natural 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got an 11, so I don't think I've done too bad. And I've got a 3 to my bonus.
So technically, from what you're saying, is that even somebody that succeeded, can be able to roll again.
No. If you've
Okay.
succeeded, you can roll again, but you could end up with a fail because you have to take the new roll. This is down to who out of the failing people wants to take the roll or the re-roll. Person with the highest positive has the highest chance of succeeding, but it's not guaranteed.
Of re-rolling into a success. So my modifier is +5.
Oh, mine's only +2.
Should we let Vinny roll again? He has the chance of getting a higher number.
Okay. Go for it, Vinny.
Nice.
Yeah, can't get too
Yep,
much.
and you have to take the new roll, so it does happen to be a natural 1, then
Please.
That sucks, but I believe we
That
were
will
all
suck,
going
but
to
it
lose
will-
anyway.
That's better.
Nice.
17.
And now I will check the passive perception of those who are involved with this. Okay. So, as you are all otherwise trying to hide as best you can in the local environment, using it to your advantage, either climbing up trees, using mold earth to kind of smother yourself in dirt and making sure that you hide well, Corsair moves off to a little portion off to one side. As you've kind of abandoned your camp, there is a shout in Dwarvish, which only Romulus will understand, as there's a shout made, followed by imps kind of flying through the canopy and landing on trees nearby, looking around. You note shortly afterwards the hulking belly butchers run through, and you note that 2 of them kind of get down onto all fours and begin to heavily sniff the ground before kind of looking around. A few of them peering in the direction of some of you, almost not necessarily directly, but following a trail before Corsair runs. And notably, there is another shout as most of them begin to pick up and run in his direction. You note as this happens, the captain is running as fast as a dwarf can, which is slower than the rest, but still running by the looks of it. How long do you wait?
We wait until it's safe, Chris.
Well,
It's
until-
never safe.
Until we're not like we. we haven't got immediate people present, but we don't want to leave it too long where they could double back. Because as soon as Corsair goes invisible, they may then resume fanning. So, like, as soon as they're sort of like out of immediate eyesight, eye line, vision.
Mhm.
Is that what people think? We're good.
Well, we should go a little further than that, because if we need to set up a new camp, then
True. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we'll give it a couple of minutes after they're out of our eye line, and then move.
Okay. Giving a couple minutes after they've left eye line, as they otherwise dash off, you quickly and hurriedly otherwise gather up your tent and things before going where?
Opposite direction, guys.
That sounds smart.
Okay. Now,
But then again, aren't we going closer to where they
Before-
came
before we move, I'm gonna
you mean
send.
back in the...
Oh, carry on.
Sorry, when you say opposite direction, you mean back west? Would it be?
I assume
Well,
so.
you'd headed east from where you were, and Corsair has headed southeast away from the camp. So to head directly opposite from Corsair would lead you directly to the camp.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're still
Corsair
in
is
trees
currently not in your party.
at the moment.
In trees or no, you've just gathered up your tents and stuff, kind of quickly unpegging them, taking down the poles,
Yeah.
wrapping them up in bundles, and then kind of shoving them under your arms before departing, which is
Okay.
to
So
where?
we're in a tree area still. I'm going to send
Yes.
Jeff up, flying close to the trunk of the tree.
Mhm.
Not too high, just so he can get a visual on what's on the surrounding.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a perception check for Jeff, please.
Come on, Jeff, be a good bird. That is 6. Well done,
6.
Jeff.
Jeff is pretty sure it's clear. You can't see any dangers, can't see anything. There's no enemies in the sky, no imps flying around, which means that they must either be lower down or somewhere else. You're not certain, but Jeff can't see any dangers.
Oh, Jeff is such a good bird. Okay. Cat takes that as truth. So, bring Jeff back down via the trunk just so he doesn't stand out at all. And there's nothing immediately around, so there's no specific route we've got to try and avoid. I would just avoid the direction they all went. So,
Okay.
probably
Should
west.
we head? Yeah, should we head northwest then?
Yeah. Okay. Northwest it is.
Okay. So heading northwest,
Mm-hmm.
you begin to leave the wooded area from the northwestern direction as you begin to kind of trudge through in the open now on the grass
How?
or the heathland. Sorry.
Yeah, how far would we have to travel before we get to the end of the woodlands?
Not far. It's about 150 or so feet. It's roughly the same distance that the people were from you when you started to pack up, or began to hide. Sorry.
Okay. Is there anything else off in the visible off in the distance?
Yes. What looks to be a few smoke trails.
Well, I'm gonna guess that's probably their camp.
Right, probably not a good place to head towards then.
Yeah. You noted their existence last time, I will say. I believe it was Jeff saw faint glows off in the distance.
Yeah. Just. Okay.
In which direction?
Northwest.
The northwest direction. Right up against the mountain.
Okay. And that's the direction they were coming at us from.
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah, let's not go that direction then.
I mean, what? You'd say if it's a bad idea, but what if we went west and then approached the camp from the opposite direction? So do a big loop around it.
We could do.
They've seen us this side.
That's not. But our primary concern is finding somewhere else to sleep.
That's
Because
true.
our rest was interrupted and we haven't caught up with it yet.
No. So what do you think? I mean, we now know the location of their camp.
Mm-hmm. Can we see from here anywhere that looks like there might be more cover?
Go ahead and make me a perception or survival check.
Nice.
There we go.
Natural 20 was that?
Perception. Mm-hmm. So,
Total
for
of
perception, that is a 29.
29. Okay. From here, you otherwise have a look around. The light rain isn't obscuring your vision all that much. You think, and you otherwise look around and begin to get a good look of the area. And as you otherwise kind of peer off in the distance, you can make out the mountain range to the direct north of you. A little bit closer if you were to go northeast from your current location. You make out what looks to be a series of what looks to be kind of light rolling hills, and you can make out just about what looks to be the beginnings of some form of pillar, which you would recognize as some form of dwarven mine. Whether it's abandoned or not, you're uncertain, but it would certainly be a place to seek cover and shelter from the elements, which would potentially be off the beaten path. It's a few hours travel, so this will potentially invoke exhaustion. But other than that, the rest of the area around here is heathland. It's either back into the woods, risking trying to find a place to hide and sleep and just hope that you don't get discovered upon, or move off to a new location such as this, but risk picking up some exhaustion along the way.
Mm-hmm. If there's anything at the mine, we're in big trouble fighting it if we're exhausted, but it's a good place to hide.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the best bet that we've got.
Anyone else get the feeling we're gonna die? No? Okay.
Not me.
Let's go for it.
Oh.
No one cares about you, Corsair.
I can all... No, that's Romulus.
Oh.
Wow! I'm going to tell you said that.
I'm sorry, I got the wrong voice.
Corsair ran off invisible.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's
Yeah.
what tired cove is. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is Romulus.
Big rum.
Wow.
Rummy.
I can... When we get to the mountains and otherwise have a look in, I can always take the lead if need be. I can take the brunt of whatever we find if there is something dangerous there.
I appreciate your sacrifice, Big Brum. Thank you.
It wouldn't be a sacrifice.
Sure.
Right, we'll back you up in that case then.
Mhm.
Are we all okay to move?
Yes.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, then let's go. Let's get out of here.
Right. We are going then.
Okay. Okay, so heading northeast of here, I would like everyone to roll me a Constitution saving throw. DC for this is 10, as it is your first point of exhaustion.
Oh. Where's my con save? Please be good. Okay. Okay, 15.
15.
Snap.
8.
Okay, so anybody who got under the 10, you suffer 1 point of exhaustion. Well, this is fine. So mark that down as a single point of exhaustion, so that'll be disadvantage on all of your ability checks should you do anything involving that. As you otherwise begin to draw closer, Vinny keeping a good heading on where you're headed, given the very high roll and the natural 20, you travel towards the mountains and begin to arrive closer to them with relative haste. traveling through at your current time schedule. As you otherwise arrive closer to the mines, you begin to see what looks to be the opening that you saw, the kind of large dwarven stone pillar or cairn that's in place. One that you've seen on a few times to kind of marker dwarven places of note, something to allow them to be spotted from a great distance for those who are keenly looking for them. And as you otherwise note it, you see that the mine itself doesn't seem to be active from the outside. You don't see anything on the exterior which seems to suggest any immediate activity or recent activity.
Good start.
Okay. I guess we're. Do we want to take a minute to look around, or do we want to just head straight in?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a minute to look. I'm just gonna double check instead
Okay.
of just putting ourselves in a disadvantage here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
That'll be
While
easy
this is
to
going
do.
on, then I'm going to check that no one's following us.
Are you using any light to illuminate the interior?
I'm gonna use Jeff. I don't want to give us away too much.
Okay, go ahead and give me a flat roll then, please. As Jeff would give you advantage, but obviously this would give you disadvantage otherwise.
Ooh, Jeff, you special boy. That's a 7.
Jeff otherwise kind of looks inside as you're kind of waiting for Jeff's reply. Oh, clear.
Aww.
Well, Jeff says it's clear. So. Who am I to
Right,
question
let's
Jeff?
go for it then.
Right, we'll head in then.
Okay. Heading in, you immediately see that as you otherwise kind of step into the immediate vicinity. With your passive investigation or perception, are you lighting any lights, or are you just wandering in as is?
I'll make some dancing lights if people want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making some dancing lights, you immediately begin to note the cave entrance is slightly slick, with almost like this orangish or orange residue, or trying to think of what the word would be now. When water evaporates and leaves something behind, sediment. That's the word. This
Sediment.
almost, sort of, yeah.
Condensation?
It's when the water evaporates and leaves kind of a slick gel on the wall almost.
What kind of water have you got?
I don't.
Sorry.
I don't remember what the word's called. Either way, there's almost this kind of very thin, almost orangish film on the exterior of the walls here, and a large number of bones you note near the edge of the entrance to this dwarven mine. Old bones, I will note, but bones nonetheless.
Ah, bones.
Ooh, free food.
Last time there was bones outside, there was scary things at night. Well, I guess it is daytime.
Yeah, how fresh are these bones?
Old bones, so they're old and dried for the most part. I'll say make your medicine check to you if you want to get more of an exact.
Kay would be doing that, yes.
Okay, go for it.
Go for it.
I am always curious about the bones.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, that's another that is 13.
13. Looking at the bones, yeah, they're old and dusty, but they look a little bit odd compared to what you'd usually be used to. They're kind of a bit harder than you'd expect for kind of an old dry bone, but that's about it.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, as long as
Yeah.
there's no magic rabbits around called Max, I think we'll be okay.
I love
Right.
Max.
Right,
You
let's-
didn't have Max explode on you.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Let's get deep enough that we're obscured from the entrance, but not go too far in just in case.
Okay.
And then we'll try and make camp here.
Okay. Heading in a little ways, you can see what may have once been, or off to one side of the main mine itself, you can see there's kind of this section of wall where there's a very clear kind of square cut out of it, which may have once been a doorway, with what looks to be almost a collapsed interior, rocks fallen inwards. You can see a little bit further down to the right what looks to be an opening where an old forge currently sits cold. The rest of the room seems to lead on from whatever this mine is, with kind of the wooden supports still holding this place up, but very much old in that nature. You can see a lot more of these bones kind of lining the hallways to the left and the right of the main area. Again, still quite old by the looks of it, but again, still that kind of orangish residue in places.
I wouldn't recognize it from my time going to the blacksmiths.
I'd say probably not, no. This wouldn't be
Okay.
something that you'd be able to identify easily. Or understand what it is, anyway.
So most things.
Okay. Okay.
Seems safe enough? No?
Well, I mean, bones are old. I mean, our options are whatever's going on in here or whatever's going on out there.
I like forges.
Well,
Let's give it a go.
our experience with things tends to be with ghosts, and they're at night. It looks like we're going to be resting through the day.
I mean, our only other option is to go somewhere else. We're already tired.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee we'll be finding anywhere else.
Kay's gonna go find a corner and lay down.
Okay.
He's
Right.
exhausted.
Yeah, let's make camp here.
Okay. So I'll say, with the room being big enough, you otherwise settle camp in the forge room for now.
Mm-hmm.
So, same watches as before, I'm going to assume.
I can't take a watch because I'm exhausted.
Okay, so those
Oh,
who
that's
are...
right. So Vinny and Kay can't take watches. So that means that each of you is on a one-person watch.
That's...
So who's going to take first watch? Cat,
Well, I'll take
Herb,
first.
or Romulus?
Oh, we might as well
So
stay
Cat's
with the
gonna take-
track we've got.
Okay.
Basically, we've just lost 3 guys.
Okay. So, Cat, go ahead and make me a perception check using Jeff. Are you lighting a fire or anything during this time, or...?
The fire was to keep off the cold, not so much keep out the dark. So, how cold is it in here? I mean, we're in a building; it shouldn't be too frightfully cold.
No, it's quite well insulated. It's a little bit nippy, but it's not like bad by any means.
Okay, so our warm clothes should keep us warm then.
Yeah, quite happily.
Then no, I won't light the fire because I want to do everything I can to not attract anything.
Okay.
So, Jeff, flat roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, Jeff, please be the hero I need. Oh, Jeff. Well, we're gradually going up. 8 this time.
Okay. Jeff keeps an eye out as you're keeping. Well, this would be your perception through Jeff's eyes, wouldn't it? Or is that Jeff's
no,
perception?
it's Jeff's perception through.
Okay, then you make your own with disadvantage as well.
Okay, cool. And then mine is. If I get better than Jeff. Okay, that's a 15. Oh, Jeff, you're tired.
Yeah. You're otherwise kind of looking around, kind of keeping an eye on. You, as you're otherwise watching, kind of just keeping a general eye out on the area, you feel like there's faint movement around you, but you're not certain what it is.
Okay, that's creepy. Don't like that. Cat is patiently but very much cautiously watching. Very much cautiously watching.
Yeah. There's the feeling of, like, movement in the area, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is.
Okay. You know when sort of like you're young and you sort of like think something's watching you, think if I don't move, it can't see me. That's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Next on watch.
I will be letting
We-
the next person on watch know as well.
Okay, so Curve, you've been made aware that there is movement.
Uh,
So Curve, please go ahead and roll me a perception check with disadvantage, and go ahead and roll me 2d12 as well, please.
excuse
See
me.
if anything unexpected happens during your watch.
2d12s.
18. Okay. You're otherwise keeping watch and otherwise looking around, noting the environment and kind of noting the kind of the feeling of movement. You look around and as you're otherwise kind of going to take or going to put Romulus on watch, you otherwise look over and you can see that where Kay has snuggled up into the corner, he is currently wrapped in orange ooze. Kay, you have not woken up from this event, I will note. But Curve, you note that Kay is encapsulated by orange ooze. You can very clearly see him through the orange shimmer.
Is that just a K thing? That's what Curve's thinking.
Go ahead and roll me a nature check.
With disadvantage.
No, this is just be a regular roll.
Yeah. Oh, 8.
8. -2. Oh.
Yeah.
You're uncertain, but you haven't seen Kay do this before, so it might be best to alert someone.
I sigh and sort of plod over to Kay, with just like my foot, sort of try and shake him awake a bit. Kay.
So you kick the edge of the gel.
Oh, yes.
Okay. What's your AC?
Hi. AC 16.
16. As you kind of kick the jelly, your foot gets stuck in it for a moment before it quickly encapsulates you as you are blinded, deafened, and restrained. You aren't dead, but you can't, as you try to go and talk, you feel like the world around you is muffled.
So I'm conscious.
You're conscious, you just can't see or hear anything, and everything around you is muffled as you attempt to say or do anything, and you're currently wrapped up in this gel, whatever it is.
Oh, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare.
And Kay, you do not wake up from this because, unfortunately, she just interacted with the gel.
Well, it's what Curve would do. I'm sorry. I. Okay.
So what do you do, Curve?
Well, I can't bloody do anything, can I?
Just go
And
to
what do
sleep.
you want me to say? I start crying. I mean, oh, actually, yeah. Can I just go to sleep
Okay,
Oh no!
and get my rest?
okay.
Are we
I'm
all
gonna-
just dead here?
I'm gonna roll to see if Romulus wakes up for his watch. This will be a con check, I believe. It's hold on, no. This is what did we do for this before? It was a perception check with disadvantage versus DC 10, I want to say.
Well, Jeff also has the orders that stand, and it's not going to change, as we had the escapade of him keep falling asleep, was Jeff will wake the next person up when it is roughly
Okay.
time.
So when it comes to Romulus's watch, about an hour later, Romulus wakes up and sees a Curve and a K encapsulated in gel, and is concerned. Now, unfortunately, Romulus isn't here, so I'm going to say for the purposes of this, he is going to pull the mind from Vinny and Cat without waking you up, using his mystical powers. So, Simon and Jamie, what would you like Romulus to do?
Would Romulus have any chance of recognizing this stuff?
Let's see. He is a cataloger, so he would be able to get advantage on this. So with his nature check, oof. No, with a 9, he doesn't know what this stuff is. He kind of mutters to himself that maybe Cat would know.
I want a long rest, but I would probably
You can
go
wake
with
up,
wake
but
up.
you can wake up, but if you cast a spell, you will not benefit from the long rest.
Yeah, no, that's
so you
fair.
can wake up and do skill checks. That's fine.
In
if
fairness,
you wake Vinny up, then he doesn't get it
in
because Vinny's
fairness,
exhausted.
I imagine Romulus would probably wake Cat up as it's slimy stuff and.
Yeah, Romulus will
Hiya.
shake you awake and be like, Cat, Curve and Kay are kind of encapsulated in slime.
So, as soon as he says that, there's just pure panic because, as far as she's concerned at the moment, that's not good. That's really, really bad.
Okay.
So,
Stepping up and looking out, he's like, I mean orange slime. As you look upon the two of them, you may make a nature check. You have advantage as you are a cataloger, and this is something that has been catalogued.
yes. In fact, I've got the slime book, haven't I?
You do indeed, yeah.
So, yeah, I will go through and I will do a nature check.
Okay.
Come on, dice, don't fail me now. This is a +7.
You want to Tides of Chaos, and I'll give you, you have to roll on the Wild Magic table?
Yeah, you know what? Whatever, sure. I mean, at this
I don't
point,
mind doing, because at this point, this is with a +1 modifier, so yeah, go for it. I want to see what happens. 40. This might wake all of you up if it's an explosion, we'll have to see.
Oh, God.
Okay, you regain 2d10 hit points.
Oh, cool. I'm fully healed from the damage that I didn't take. Sweet.
Okay, you get one additional roll, so you get to re-roll one of them, so re-roll the 2.
You know what?
There we-
Yeah, that's 22.
Okay. Okay, good. As you're otherwise looking through your book, there's a moment of like, you're looking through the slime book and you're like, there's nothing in here. And you're like, okay, I'll check the catalogers one. You kind of flip through it. And you recognize this as what looks to be known as real peel. This is a fungus which has an orange consistency, and from the notation of what is written in here, it is otherwise vulnerable to the cold, and applying a significant amount of cold will cause it to retreat or die off. Applying heat will cause it to get aggressive, and it is monstrous-like in the act that it will swallow people and hold them in place for several days until they die of starvation and thirst, and then slowly consume their nutrients.
Okay. Well, they.
It is noted that once you are inside of this gel, or once you're encapsulated inside, to break it open, you can use a sharp implement to cut it open. However, it mentions that you have to be incredibly careful of the person inside because you can easily nick them.
Sorry, 1 second.
And if any of this gets into their bloodstream, it can cause long-term disease and poison effects, which is disadvantage on most things.
Okay. So, rule of thumb at the moment is they won't die if we leave them in there for the last couple of hours.
No, but they will, however, not get the benefit of healing because they will not be able to consume food or water. So, Kay won't get his point of exhaustion back, but he won't gain another one. That's the disadvantage.
Okay. If Romulus uses his... Halberd, is it, that's got the cold?
Yeah, he goes to Halberd.
Okay.
You have to make a small incision of some form, because if he goes too hard, he's going to hit Kay.
We could really do with someone like Vinny, who, you know... isn't just brutal. Because I can't pull things out. I don't have much strength.
It's a shame that the solution to this problem, unfortunately, fell asleep against the wall and was the one who got encapsulated.
Yeah. Let me. Am I right in saying that for the cold damage to happen, you have to attune to the weapon?
No, I think it was just the alternative effect, which is that you negate regeneration, is that it requires you to attune to the weapon.
Okay.
If they are, yeah, because the cold down. Oh no, sorry. Just gonna double check. Yeah, it's the negating healing that requires attunement. The +2 cold damage is just flat.
Okay, so the next question is, does Vinny take his weapons off when he goes to sleep?
Do you, Vinny? I assume they'd be at your side somewhere, like in a pack or something.
Yeah, probably. I probably got like a dagger on my person.
Okay.
A back.
I've probably taken my swords off.
Okay. Right. Now, if I help Romulus by I make the incision carefully, not making an attack, but more of a sort of using my experience of taking samples of different things. So just making an incision and let Romulus kind of pull them out.
Yeah.
Will that affect my long rest?
No.
Okay, then I'm going
You're
to
allowed
go...
to do skill checks, but if we were to enter combat or anything, then it probably would.
Right,
in this
okay.
instance.
I'm going to go and yoink Vinny's sword.
Okay. Taking the ghostly short sword.
Cat will mutter under her breath, "Thank you, I'm just borrowing this." Knowing full well he's asleep, but she's still doing it
And
anyway.
exhausted, so he probably doesn't hear this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's gonna go, right, they don't like cold, so if I make an incision, can you pull them out?
Romulus otherwise nods.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So
Can do.
I will make an incision.
Okay, go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check, please.
It's not bad. It's not the best. It's not the worst. Come on, dice gods. Please. 22.
Okay. Taking the short sword and carefully cutting an incision, you watch as it begins to almost peel and blacken around the edge where you cut it before it makes almost this high-pitched whining and squeaking sound, and it peels back and moves back to further towards where the wall is, releasing both K and Curve.
Okay.
Romulus otherwise catches them and moves them away from their positions. K, you are completely unaware that any of this has happened, by the way. So yeah.
I try and play it cool.
Oh, you're asleep. You fell
Oh,
asleep
still.
on your watch. Yeah.
After all this,
You-
okay.
You said I'm gonna go to sleep. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you got to sleep with the lack of anything.
Okay.
Wow, fine, cool.
Now that we've
Yeah.
resolved that, it
You
should
go
be
back to
fine
sleep.
now.
Romulus goes on watch. Okay. With that, the challenge and the issue dissipate over the course of your watch, as you all wake up. Those of you with points of exhaustion no longer suffering points of exhaustion, and yeah. Okay, you have somehow, in the midst of your sleep, moved from the corner of the chamber to the center of the chamber, nearby to where everybody else is. You don't know how. You possibly sleepwalked. Okay. Romulus otherwise prepares a breakfast. And I think we'll have a quick break there, I think might be a good idea. So, otherwise go fill up your water bottles, grab yourself a little snackadoos and such, and we will continue on in just a mo once we are back. Don't go anywhere.
We finally achieved our fabled rest.
Yes, you will benefit from your long rest, so fully heal yourself, restore any resources you might otherwise have, regain 3 hit die if you've spent any today.
I feel like I've just won D&D.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yep, you have
I'm
won
gonna go make
D&D.
tea.
Success
have
of
a tea.
taking a long rest.
I'm gonna go have a cup of tea.
Yep, I'm going to be back as well. Won't be long. I have returned. Who else is back?
I'm here. Hello.
Welcome. Is Suds here?
I didn't hear him come back.
His mouse is moving.
Oh.
You are here, but you're muted still? Okay. You recovered, in case you didn't hear, because I'm not sure, because you didn't say anything, obviously. You benefited from the long rest, and you regained your, or you recovered from your point of exhaustion.
Okay. Sorry, I had to deal with
That's all right.
family stuff.
No, I understand. That's fine. Just letting you know, because I wasn't sure if you were here or not when I said that to the rest of them.
No, the last thing I heard was I wouldn't be able to.
No, they cut you free, and so you're okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you wake up in the middle of the camp as opposed to the edge, so you're pretty sure you sleepwalked, but you're unsure why or how. All you know is you woke up next to the fire, or woke up next to where Romulus is preparing some food. some cold food mined, given he's been warned that the fungus will grow in the presence of heat. Okay.
In case mine, the only reason he moved is because he's unsatisfied with today's hunt, with yesterday's hunt.
Back.
Welcome back. Okay, I have to remember that Romulus has advantage on sleight of hand checks and deception checks. When you see a creature in 30 feet of you hit by an attack, you may use your reaction to invoke the rune and choose a different target within 30 feet of you other than the attacker. The chosen creature becomes the target of the attack using the same roll. Magic can transfer the attack's effect regardless of attack's range. Only you invoke this. Once you invoke this rune, you cannot do so again until you finish a short or long rest. And then he has advantage on insight checks. Okay. I'll need to keep that in mind that he has that. Rune Knights are pretty strong. Kind of makes me want to play one. So just wait for Jamie to get back, and then we'll carry on. Well, I mean, you can use this time to prepare whatever your plan of attack will be. I'll say that you're getting to about 9 o'clock, half 9-ish. In the morning, I'll say. So, I'd say, given the distance from where you headed, you're about 6 to 7 hours away from the camp. So, near enough half a day's travel.
I'm afraid myself, I'm a bit tired and a little bit headachy. So I'll be contributing where I can, but I'm afraid I'm a little bit sluggish. Sorry. But I've got a cup of tea to try and make me feel a bit better.
That's good.
Well, I was going to say, well, we can stop early if we needed to, just because if we're down Romulus, Suz isn't able to talk a whole lot because family, and if you're feeling headachy, we can always call the session early if we wanted to. But if you think the cup of tea will help and you'll feel better, then we can keep going once Jamie's back. But
can we see how Jamie feels when he comes back? And I'd rather. Sorry, I feel a little bit bad if I just say myself no. I'd like to see how people feel.
I was about
Given-
to say
Sorry, go first.
I was just gonna say on my end, everything's good now because they're doing the lookout thing now. So.
Okay. So you were able to talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see how Jamie feels, and if you think the tea will help and you'll be able to make it to the end of the session, then that's okay. Yeah.
No, to be honest, I can. Jamie will probably be okay, and I'll probably be all right. I just didn't want to come across like a bit of a dick and not helping too much. Yeah.
That's all right.
That's fair enough. I think
I
we all
returned.
had sessions like that.
Okay. So, were we all good to continue going for now then?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I'm happy to if everyone else is.
Yeah, you okay with that, Rebecca?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just saying.
What's happened?
No, sorry, I'm okay. I'm just quite tired. I didn't sleep very well, and headachy. I do have a cup of tea to try and help me pipe up a bit. But for the moment, please don't be offended that I'm not going to be fully in there with discussions.
That's fine.
That's it. All right.
Okay. Okay then. So,
Of course you come that way.
as you otherwise have eaten up now, otherwise received your long rest, and are prepared to exit the cave, where do you go and what do you do? Corsair hasn't returned yet, I will say.
Okay, well, we shouldn't go off without him.
True, but if he hasn't
No.
returned and it's been several hours now.
He's-
I
Possibly encountered some trouble then.
do you reckon he may have got captured? I mean, I did think about it, but I didn't say. I kind of should have said. I feel a bit bad that I didn't say. But there are casters there, and maybe they can nullify magic. He may have tried to go
Maybe.
invisible, and they could have just countered it.
It's also
Are
not
there
impossible that he's betrayed us.
There's also that. Are there
Sorry.
trees still around us?
You're in a cave.
I thought we were
Oh,
leaving.
outside. Sorry, outside the cave.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Outside the cave, no. It's heathland in all directions outside the cave. The woodland is to your south from here. It will be about a 3-hour journey south to reach the woodland where you once were.
I was just wondering if I could get a good vantage point
Would you-
to see around.
Yeah, you can quite clearly see around if you want to make a perception check, just to see if there's anything that catches your attention.
What do you think? Do we think we should head back and see if he's at the camp? And if he's not, then head to their camp? I mean, there's not much point in waiting around for him if he's run off. And after his experience with the last party,
16, was that?
Yeah.
Looking around from what the vantage point that you have up here, you can't seem to see anything that stands out. There's no people running, no movement by the looks of it. You can still see from this general vantage point what looks to be the camp not far from here. You can see it's about the same distance from where you were before, so you can see what looks to be smoke plumes rising up despite the rain. And that's about it. The rest of it around here seems to be fairly barren and empty.
the other
We-
thing is, he was very noisy.
True.
Referencing the
We also-
armor.
Yeah, we also did change direction than when we were going to be, so it's possible he's been unable to find us.
Mm.
Did we actually tell him when we were going?
No, we didn't know where we were going. All I can think is we head towards the thing is putting ourselves at risk going back on ourselves, but head towards the camp and then their camp possibly. And if we don't find him, then he may have run off thinking that we've been caught.
Yeah,
Or
I think we
has
should
been
head
caught
back
himself.
to the. I think we should probably head back to the woodlands, see if we can find any sign of him. It could be that he's just hiding out there.
Mm.
And then
Okay.
once we've found him, we can figure out how to approach their camp.
Okay, I think that's a pretty solid plan. Yeah.
So what was the plan, sorry?
Head to the woods. See if we can see him there. Then head to their camp.
Okay. So spending the 3 hours heading south, and I'm going to presume trying not to be seen. That will slow you down. Alternatively, you can run for it and speed up the journey. But there's a chance you'll be seen. Up to you.
I don't think we should run and risk getting seen.
Yeah, we don't want to be seen yet.
Besides, we don't know who they've sent out. There might be more generals around or commanders.
Yeah.
Oh, portrait.
Okay.
We.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
traveling stealthily, heading south. I'd like everyone to make me a general stealth check, please.
16.
16. Snap.
Woo!
19.
Okay.
17.
I mean, it says a 10. Okay. So overall, everybody rolled pretty well except for Romulus, but that's okay. You head towards the woodland fairly easily. There's no immediate danger or anything as you're otherwise traveling. You do spot, I will say, in the distance, what looks to be a small patrol on the edge of the woodlands, as you are otherwise beginning to approach it.
Hmm.
Okay, we should. What way is the patrol going?
Just seemingly like along the edge of the woodlands, from what you can tell.
Okay. How many people in this patrol?
Looks to be about 6.
Okay. Are they of kinds that we've seen before?
Similar to what you've seen before, yeah. Well, looks to be 2 of those sludge haulers, 2 casters, a belly butcher, and just a regular dwarf.
Be a risk fighting here.
Yeah, they are moving, so you could potentially let them pass, but that's up to you.
Yeah, I was thinking if they're going around in one direction, we head around in the other and try and get into the woods behind them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if this will work, but I wanted to try something.
Okay.
I want to do what I did before, where I bit myself to be able to use a spell.
Yeah, that was alright. Just meant that you need to take damage.
Yeah, I don't mind taking damage. I want to try and see if this will actually work the way I hope it will.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so
So
I
go ahead and
will.
roll damage. It's just a d6 plus 4. You don't have to worry about the to hit, it's just the damage.
Oh, wow.
So
Of
10
course,
points of
that's
damage. Okay, 10 points of damage as you bite down on yourself, and you gain the attunement or the damage, the spell types, dark,
gel.
dark and gel.
I would like to use Metamorph on myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to try and get like the kind of like it, kind of like the zooming type effect that like a bird could have with their eyes,
Okay.
kind of like a telescopic vision.
Okay. So I will say this will give you advantage on perception checks. Um, I'll say for the duration of Metamorph.
Cool. Um,
How long does Metamorph last?
it only lasts for 10 minutes. Let me double check.
I think it's 10
10 minutes.
minutes, yeah. Yeah.
It's mostly I want to try and see if I can see literally anything else inside the forest from here, because I might be able to pick up a glint of something that
Okay.
may or may not be seen right away.
Go ahead and make me a perception check with advantage, then, please.
Put it right there, and it's usually a pretty good spot.
18.
18. Looking in past them into the forest from what you can see, the trees get pretty dense, but you can see that there are more individuals roaming around on the interior. Not many more, mind. Will look to be, as you kind of begin to make out more of them, which look to be identical, so more of these potential mirror fiends. But there's not really much else.
Do put down another fucking.
They seem to be thinner in numbers than they were before.
I can see more deeper in. Not many, but more.
Why do I feel this is not a... If he's in the wood, then they're either surrounding him, trying to find him, or they're still looking for us. I'm not sure if we should go in there.
What do you think then? Do we look for him elsewhere or abandon him?
I don't know if maybe heading towards the camp and maybe we'll find him on the way. Maybe he's thought we've found somewhere to shelter up and headed that way. Also, historically speaking, he knew about other adventurer groups. He may have just put us down to be dead and run away being invisible, saving himself. I don't know.
It's true. And it's possible he went straight for the infiltration while he thought people were distracted.
I mean, if there was a general out and a lot of guys out of the camp could have been empty. He may have just run straight for the camp. I think we should probably head towards the camp and do a little bit of scouting before.
Yeah?
Maybe we might see him in there being held, or I genuinely don't know. I mean, if he did infiltrate and went after his target, I don't think this group of people would be here. They'd probably all be pulling back to the camp to try and defend or regroup themselves if they've lost the leader. I don't know. I don't know. So, I think we should head towards the camp. I genuinely have no idea where he is, but he's not exactly proven to be loyal.
I mean, technically he hasn't proven to be disloyal either.
No, but he has given a lot of misinformation and led us astray on information.
Yeah, I think if he's looking for us, he should have found us by now. Because it's possible he's betrayed us, or it's possible that he thinks we've betrayed him, or he just saw an opportunity and ran for it. Either way, I think the camp is the best place to go, because we could be wandering around here for days looking for him.
Yeah, and running higher risk of us being found by them. Okay. Should we head to the camp then?
I'll go where you guys go. I'll just make sure I keep on high alert so I see them before they see us.
Oh, that's probably best. We should definitely keep on high alert, especially if we're getting closer to the camp.
Okay.
Okay.
Heading
Shall
towards
we
the
do it?
camp. Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Heading towards the camp. This will take the better part of about 4 or so hours to take it to the early evening. So the sun isn't beginning to set just yet, as it is still autumn, so the sun will stay a little bit longer, but it is getting there. As you get closer towards the camp, I would like everyone to make me another stealth check, please, for this. Okay, Romulus did well.
19.
16.
Nice, nice.
Ugh.
That's a hopeful sound.
Yep. Natural 1 on Vinny,
Mhm.
which is a total of 1, I believe, because the -5 is cancelled out by your +5. Yeah. And Kay?
19.
Okay. Overall, you're all very quiet, and Vinny, there are moments where you're a bit more... You feel like you're still a little bit tired from the day before. It's not actual exhaustion, but you feel like it is as you're kind of going along and feeling a bit off your game at the moment. As you otherwise reach a section of heather that's a distance away from the camp itself, you can see that the camp may have once had trees around it, but has since had them cut back. You can see that where there was once a wonderful area of possible forest, now stands a small plateau of what looks to be built up earthworks and wooden palisades holding it mostly in place. Spiked wooden poles reaching out of the dirt underneath where the palisade is set up, and will look to be a number of guard towers built up and around the actual campsite itself. About 6 or 7 in all, and you can see several. And from your vantage point here, you can't see into the camp at all, but you can see a few walkways between the towers. And this is backed up against, right up against the mountainside itself.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, so. Is. Yeah. What can we see in terms of entrances?
Entrances you can see will looks to be from your current trajectory. Go ahead and make me a perception check, please.
That is a 13.
13. You can see that there are 2 entrances, pretty much side by side. Both of them are currently open, and you note that that is the area where there are 3 connected guard towers, where there are individuals otherwise standing on top, looking like the casters, with imps that otherwise fly around the top of the tower for a bit, land, and then take off again in kind of a general irregular pattern to a certain degree. You can see that there are those 2 entrances, and otherwise, the rest of it is just encapsulated in palisade walls.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. The only other way in, from what you could tell, would be either going over the palisade wall, flying in from above, or climbing the mountain and then coming down the mountain again. But the mountain edge is quite sheer near sections of this, where it looks like it's been. You can see sections of it where it's been carved or collapsed on purpose to kind of create this sheer flat edge at the back.
Okay. Well, I have got Featherfall. Should we ever consider?
It's a very visible way in, but it is an option.
It is, but then in the middle of the night, it might be less visible.
You can also see small plumes of smoke that are otherwise rising from each of the towers, as well as from within the camp itself. Kind of a cursory count, you can see there's probably about 6, 7, maybe 8.
How much cover is there from the imps? You said the trees that would have been here have been cut down, right?
Yeah, the trees here have been cut down, so where this may have once been wooded area around this, it's all been cut down and used for other purposes here. The area around is otherwise just heathland and the kind of rotting stumps that are nearby. You're all generally all well hidden, and the imps just kind of fly around the top of the tower for a few rounds and then kind of go back down onto the shoulder of whoever and then fly up again. Occasionally, a few of them begin to fight and shout at one another, and a few land and continue on.
They fight. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like they're taking a full wide berth of the camp. They're just circling the tower which they are in, which is the ones at the front mainly. There are other ones in each of the towers, so they are all manned.
If Jeff goes up to scout from the air, he's likely to get spotted, isn't he?
It's
Yeah.
possible. Depends on Jeff's perception. Or stealth, not perception.
Yeah, it'd be. What is Jeff's stealth? What what is your stealth, Mr. Jeff? Stealth is dex, isn't it? So it'll be +2. We could send him, but I can't risk him getting shot down for a plethora of reasons. The trees. So we're currently in trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, not in tree. Sorry, you are otherwise hiding behind a large heather shrub.
Oh, okay, right. There's nothing.
Yeah. So you're stealthed and covered from one direction, but not from everything behind you. But Kay's keeping an eye out, so I'll let you know if you spot anything.
Okay. So our options are to either drop in, to try or go over the wall. I don't think we can get in behind. Can I look? How close are we, sort of like, to the mountain that they've kind of carved into almost? And
From your current position, I'll say you're giving a good stealth distance to not get spotted. So I'll say you're about 400 feet out. So you're about 600 feet from the mountain wall from the trajectory you came.
Okay. Would it be reasonable to use Jeff from our current location to see if there's any like cave entrances or anything in the wall of the mountain? By the side of it or what have you? Is there an alternative?
You can certainly try, yeah. If you're going to send Jeff up, then by all means.
I'm gonna send him up in the bush. I don't want him to leave the bush. Poke his head out, but I don't want him to leave.
Go ahead and give me a perception check for Jeff then, please.
Okay. Come on, Jeff. Well, actually, you know what? It's an 11. It's gradually getting better.
You can't see any cave entrances from where you currently are. That would be the right of the camp. You can't see any cave entrances on the right-hand side of the camp. You can't see any like natural cave outcroppings, cracks, caved-in sections. Can't see anything, I'm afraid. You can see that it does it's a sheer, almost like a sheer climb for a bit, and then it begins to almost gentle climb up after that.
Okay.
Where it has weathered and rock slided in places, or rock slid. But you can't. But with Jeff being on specifically this side, you can't see the left side or within the camp itself.
Okay. Off the top of my head, I can't think. So the options I can come up with, I was trying to see if there was an alternative way via a cave that would be sheltered, but it didn't quite work out. Looking at this, I don't think there's going to be a way to just, as much as we could go up and over the fence, would be exposed, and there's a lot of watching out. But then if we drop in, there's no guarantee there's going to be shelter when we drop in either. We could just drop in amongst literally hundreds of them.
We could try and... Because we can't see into the camp right now, can we?
No, we can't.
Yeah,
Well,
we could try... Go on.
I was gonna say if we can try and make it to the mountain. There is a bit of the mountain that kind of like goes over the top of the camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like hang somebody over the side of it and see if they can see anything.
Yeah. Are the imps flying over that high?
For reference, I'll just give a quick drawing here from what you to generally help you understand this a bit better. So I'll say this is ground level, and I will say, for the purposes of you don't have Corsair, I'll say Corsair / you are here. The camp itself is on a little bit of earthworks with spiky palisade biddies that are sticking out of the edge of the earthworks itself and sticking up over the top. We'll say by that much. You have towers that otherwise stick up over the top. They have fires on top and they're roofed. And there are a few of them around the camp, so I'll just do this for there being a few more, including a few that are near the back edge of the camp. And then you've got the mountain, which is like a near sheer line, and then it goes up like that. So it's a bit more gradual, but it's a very sheer edge towards the back. And it's like that in both directions by the looks of it. Or it's otherwise been kind of frequent rock slides or something similar.
Okay, so that's not
So-
gonna work.
Okay.
Unless we can create a distraction at the front of this and try and sneak in by the back, but I mean, I don't know how we'd go about making a distraction.
Besides, I don't think splitting up is a really good idea either.
No, I wasn't thinking so much of splitting up. If there was a way we could, but there's nothing really around. If there was something we could lure to bring some. Or a spell. I don't really have anything that wouldn't go unnoticed. I'm not sure. I think charging this head on is obviously a very bad idea. But we've got, unless we go round to the mountain and do some exploring, maybe we'll find something.
It's possible. We'd have getting a better idea of what the inside of the camp looks like would definitely be helpful.
I mean, if we can drop in, that'd be cool, but it depends if we can drop in going unnoticed.
Because I don't.
But then there's the thing of having to get out again.
As you're otherwise having this conversation, you otherwise keeping an eye out. I'll say, Kay, you spot this as they're not trying to be stealthy. You note coming up what looks to be almost like a makeshift path leading up to the camp. You hear a bellow from within the camp itself. As a shout and a cry is made, you watch as the imps otherwise fly down and forward, away from the camp, and begin to encircle what looks to be a cart, currently, or a wagon being pulled towards the camp. You can see quite clearly what look to be bars that have been set in place for almost like a cage back to it, and what look to be about 6 or 7 villagers, currently alive and chained up around the neck and around the wrists, as they have otherwise in whatever clothes they were in when they were captured, and they are currently kind of huddled together, and what looks to be these massive, almost 6-legged creatures with kind of hairy hooves to the bottom of them. What looks to be one large head, kind of dripping red, almost liquid from the base of a mouth, with the rest of their body just being covered in this thick blood red fur, and 2 massive horns that otherwise rise from the point of their nose like a rhino, and then the crest of their head where it rises and splits into 2 above their head itself, as these 2 large lumbering beasts pull this massive cage. You can see that it is guarded by what look to be about 7 or 8 of these dwarven individuals, and 4 of these belly butcher-like demons, as they're otherwise leading forward. You can hear shouts as the imps otherwise fly around the wagon itself.
There's people.
Yeah, there'll be a bunch more prisoners in there as well. I don't know how long. We don't know what they're doing to them. I don't know how long they'll last. Our target, if they're still alive, is probably in there as well.
I'll say, Kay, given you were making the perception before to keep an eye out for this, I'll say go ahead and make me a perception check. You otherwise, I'll say you're looking over at the wagon. You don't notice anything in particular that's out of the ordinary, or out of the ordinary for that particular scenario. Also, we can't hear you if you are talking.
I wasn't.
Okay. We need to help these people. We need to get in there. Okay. I think to start with, we should probably go up the mountain and do at least some recon of the camp. Get a rough idea of what's going on there. Because at stand, we could just see a wall. We don't even know what's in there.
Yeah. How difficult is it going to be to get up the mountain?
Without magic, it's been raining, it's slick rock, it's prone to rock slides. It's not going to be an easy thing to do, and there's a possibility of getting collapsed upon. Even with climbing kits, there's a possibility of it sliding and collapsing. With the use of some magic, it's possible, but that will obviously use spell slots depending on what you're planning to do. And given your time crunch for wanting to make it back to Magic Fest, you would need to complete your job today and then start heading back if you want to make it on time.
I'm just looking at my spells now. Spider form is self. Landstride, self. Like,
Yeah. The cart or the wagon is otherwise pulled into the camp, and you hear a shout out before you begin to hear a creaking and then a thump, as you note that both of the front gates have been closed.
I'd say the plan is probably just try and stage a jailbreak, but I don't know the best.
From what we've seen, this place is mostly made of wood, right?
Yeah, looks like it. Damp wood given the recent rain, but wood nonetheless.
Man, if only it wasn't raining, we could catch it on fire. Burn them out.
The nature of these are, from what you can... Well, no, I'll leave it at that. You need Romulus here to learn anything more about that.
Okay. Alright. I mean, Cat's, like, hyper-analytical about a lot of things. Is there something Cat would notice that I'm too incompetent to notice?
With your current information, I'll say go ahead and make an intelligence check with disadvantage, as you are potentially missing information that might help with a more obvious idea.
Would you intelligence? That's still a 9.
I'll say in this instance that there's more information for you to get, and you're probably going to want to get more information before you start making any ideas or plans.
Okay.
Gaining information will be the key thing here.
Okay.
So finding a way to get a vantage point and get some information or a viewpoint on this. The highest place around here, other than the guard towers, is the mountain itself.
Oh, I think we either go to the mountain. Yeah. If I use Jeff, it's going to give us away. No matter what angle we come from, it'll be a early warning sign. So I think we're just going to have to go up the mountain. Problem is scaling the mountain.
I have a plan for that.
Go on.
Okay, I can use Metamorph. I can use it until my points run out, or I take a long rest currently. I can use it to allow myself to climb the walls or the mountain easier. Uh, the only thing I would need is um rope and one of your pittance, Vinny, so I can be able to give myself a stable spot to stand and hold myself up on the mountain to be able to try and look inside.
What metamorph?
Okay.
Is that going to be at a detriment if you use it though? What does it use?
12 points.
Okay.
I've already bitten myself for today to be able to use it.
Unless K's tiny, right? Or he's small.
I'm
He's small.
Not that I'm a fan of like splitting the thing, but what if? Because there's two of us that can cast Spider Climb.
Mm-hmm.
What if one of us uses Spider Climb? Kate goes with one of the people that uses it. I will send Jeff as well if it's not me that uses it, and sort of like then Kay can proc over the edge, but it also means he's not on his own if something happens. And with Spider Climb, we can move quicker if we need to get down fast.
We need to be able to see inside to figure out what to do.
Exactly. I think a caster and Kay should go.
Cat. Could
Yeah.
you roll a charisma saving throw for me, please?
Why?
So not cat.
Okay, thank God. That's 21.
Okay, never mind.
It's calling out to you. The ring.
The ring.
The ring.
Put it
How-
on Frodo.
Considering I'm close to the camp and there's all of this, how are things at the moment?
You get a sense, I will say, with that kind of sudden urge of something, you otherwise look down and your hand has been on your unconsciously, your bound hand has otherwise been on your spellbook, and you can see that you have a finger otherwise pressed in as if trying to open a specific page.
I'm gonna have a look. What page am I trying to get to here? It's
As you otherwise open the spellbook, the rest of you otherwise watching this, as Kat opens her spellbook, this black page is otherwise floating and kind of shifting from side to side, and you can see that it otherwise has the picture of what looks to be eyes covering the front of it.
That's not good.
I don't know what this means. All I know is this thing, gesturing to her arm, wants them dead. I don't know why it wants them dead, considering it is them. It wants them dead. I don't know if it's trying to help us or is it just going to try and blow the entire place up. I can't
Insight.
I can't get any
Insight
information.
with disadvantage.
Oh, come on, let's
I'm
go.
going to say super disadvantage, but you know, triple disadvantage isn't a thing. Roll me 2 natural 20s. Come on, learn what this thing's
Oh,
about.
so close.
As somebody who has bitten the power that Cat currently holds, and the fact that you currently understand that you have access to some of its power, you understand that whatever may have been happening just then with Cat's kind of subconscious doing something, it might have been trying to do something to help, but you're uncertain.
Okay, I'm gonna just turn away from everyone, even though they know, but she's still very ashamed of it. and I'm going to sort of unbind the mouth, the hand part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to help or are you trying to destroy?
You just watch as the mouth opens, kind of a tongue lolling out, but nothing else really happening.
I hate this thing. So, Janie, what do you think?
So Chania looks at it, looks back at you, and just shakes her head.
Yeah, to be honest, you are the voice of reason here. I'm gonna turn around to the party. What do you lot think?
Use it on me.
If this thing
What?
is powerful enough to blow up that entire thing, if that's its intent, using it on you is gonna go badly.
I don't think that it would with eyes. I think the eyes are just to help see.
Do you genuinely believe that? I
Yes.
mean, the last pages haven't had eyes.
I believe that that page right there is going to help see.
Okay. Kay is creating a reasonable argument. In fairness, that would make sense, as the other pages haven't had eyes. I'm going to put this to a party vote, because Kat has said that she's going to rely on the party. What do you think? Should I try?
I say yes. If something bad happens, I'll eat it.
If Kay is confident.
Yeah, getting more reliant on the book may be a risk in the long term, but we can cross that bridge when we come to it. If Kay is willing to take the risk, then. But if something goes wrong, we're in big trouble.
This could be a self-casting thing.
If I'm willing to take the risk, because if you say that it wants them dead, and it was pointing to that page, and we're having the issue of trying to get in, I have felt its power.
Okay.
I don't think it would need to persuade us to do something bad.
Okay. Okay. Rightio. Then, in that case, Cat lifts this page out of the book.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a charisma saving throw, please.
Can I, if I'm allowing the power of it, can I just choose to fail?
This isn't. This is something else. So this is a
okay.
negative effect of being stage 3 correct.
Oh, sweet. That's
DC is
exciting.
5. I'll let you know now. Actually, no. You can discover if you fail.
It's now 4.
Nope.
You're fine. Okay. Okay. So as you tear the page out, you spend your HP according to instead of SP. This is a 3rd level spell.
Okay.
So this takes 5 HP. As the rest of you watch as this black page disintegrates, you watch as Cat's arm begins to lightly drip. As it begins to drip, you watch as each droplet hits the grass for a moment, before you watch as a tiny eye kind of pops out of it, looking up. A tiny kind of black tail with like a little puff on the end appears, with wings sprouting from the back of it, as it otherwise pops up. And you see that about 20 of these rise from around Cat. Cat, you now have the equivalent of 20 mini tabs open around your field of vision, as you now have the vision from all 20 of these eyes at once.
Oh, I watched that.
Oh, they are absolutely.
As this happens, you begin to feel dizzy. While this is going on, if you can focus on any window and have that be the main window that you're looking through. Any window that is a side window and not your main one has a -5 to everything that's going on that one. So if you get attacked while looking through one of these windows, you have a -5 to everything. Saving throws, attack rolls, and ability checks.
Okay.
As well as initiative.
Do these follow
And that
me?
minus... No, you can independently control every single one of them, or give them commands, and they'll just do what they can. They are tiny, and we're talking about like an inch across.
Okay.
So they are very difficult to spot.
How quickly can they move? If I send one to...
You watch as it otherwise zips 60 feet and then stops, and then can keep moving.
Okay.
So they can move 60 feet at once, but they can't dash.
Okay, and they're tiny, so they're very hard to see.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
You have 20 of them.
Rightio. Alright. I am going to... Shall I just send them round? Some up to it, some from the side. See if I can get one to go up the mountain, or a couple to go up the mountain and get a bird's eye view. Shall I just scatter these? Oh, I hate them. I don't know why. They're tiny. They probably will go unseen, and in fairness, it's not far off what these all look like anyway.
Yeah, scattering them's a good idea, I think.
Okay.
Get as much information as we can quickly.
Alright. Cat's gonna sit down because this is, or kneel down, however, because this is a bit much for her. And she's going to, I'm assuming, communicate telepathically to them? Is that how they're responding, or do I need to give them a vocal?
As you're otherwise kind of looking through, you're being sent pings of information from all of them.
Okay.
So things like identifying creatures, locations, the tents, what's around the tent. You are being fed all this information in kind of small snippet pings, which your brain is then taking and then reinterpreting as like a mental image.
Okay, so
it's
what I'm going to do...
really bizarre.
I'm going to scatter them everywhere, approaching from all angles of the camp. While Cat is sitting down, what's the ground like here?
The ground is heathland, so it's kind of thin grass. Do note, as these small eyes do float up and around, this is a concentration spell, by the way, and it lasts for 8 hours, so keep that in mind.
Wow. Okay.
As you otherwise have this happen and they begin to fly out, you note that they begin to slow down and stop as they reach a certain range. The range is quite far out, but it doesn't reach the edge of the camp, so it's somewhere within 200, 300 feet that they have to stay within that bound range around you.
Okay.
So they can't approach from every angle,
but they can
but
approach from most, and
yes,
a good overall.
And
margin.
more, yes, and more importantly.
Right. So as these pings of information are coming through, Cat is kind of using, can I say, mold earth to kind of draw fine lines in the map. Basically, a rough.
Indeed, you can.
Okay, so Cat is drawing the map out.
Yep, and this is what you see. You see the main camp itself. If the trees cut down on all sides, you can see a few spikes at the front which have skulls on. 2 gates have been closed underneath the bridges, but they aren't shown on the map. You have these these towers around the edge, with a few walkways between these 3, and then tents that look like they can house maybe 2 to 3 people each, with campfires, with stones around, a large cooking pot, and a massive carved out entrance leading further in. I would spawn all the tiles and show you where they all are, but I'll do that at the end of the session in preparation for the next one, given that we're close to the end. Yeah. That is what you otherwise managed to acquire from all this. The guards don't seem to notice. The imps don't seem to notice. They haven't got a high enough passive perception to be able to meet your spell save DC, so they do not see it.
Okay. So this is a map of everything. This is where things are.
Yeah.
And there's something further in.
Yeah.
Seems like it, yeah. And you note that each of these towers has a small campfire, or small brazier set into underneath
where it is, and the light streams out in the 4 directions, but not up.
Well, this is no small feat. But it looks like it's pretty heavily defended all round.
I'll say I'll sort out the task next time, obviously, but there are what I'd probably say about 40 to 60 individuals currently outside. But you note that quite a lot of them are currently kind of eating and talking around campfires, and a few of them seem to be kind of heading off into tents. What says underneath there?
Are there cages in this area?
Doesn't look like it, no.
Hmm.
Yeah, no cages and no prisoners seemingly on the outside from what you can tell.
Probably been taken further in then.
Where was the cart stopped?
The wagon went all the way in, and then you lost sight of it because that was a little while ago.
Okay, so it's not from what I can see out here.
No.
Okay. I can't see it outside, so part of me feels it may have gone further in.
That would make sense. That's where we need to be then, but even if we got in there and dealt with everything, there'd still be the camp on the way out.
These are tied closely to me. These creatures are tied very much to this. The last interaction we had something like this was the Rat King. When we removed / killed the slime that was involved with that, well, the slime withdrew, everything that it had control over died. Or become free, should I say, of its own thing. Slimes and rats were fighting each other.
That's true.
If we take out the leader, which I believe is probably going to be the source of this all could fall into complete anarchy here. Either they could all perish if they don't actually have something that's tying them all together, or they could all just become hostile to each other, or just chaos could happen. If chaos ensues, that gives us a chance to at least try and escape.
So get in, rush the leader, and then try and
It's a
extract
theory.
as many prisoners as possible.
It's a theory.
Well, that is how it works with the Rat King, and
Sorry, BRB.
clearly these dwarves aren't normal dwarves, so
No, and the creatures that are all tied to it also seem... I mean, my theory was, after watching all of these fight, and after we killed them, they've all just returned to mush, for the best way to describe it. So, if their leader, their main source of power, their whole being of existence disappears, will they? But that does mean we are going to have to either make sure we kill the leader and the slime that it's got, if it's got it, or potentially seal the slime, which comes at a risk. But we can't let it escape. If it escapes, this will just keep happening. And this is evident that it's still around. I don't know how many of these even broke free.
okay then. So we need to figure out a way to sneak past the camp.
Sneak past the camp, try and find the leader, kill the leader. Is my theory.
There might be another entrance in here that's hidden from the camp. Not into the camp itself, but
Into the back area, you mean?
into the mountain. There might be a hidden spot that they have for another way out.
Okay. Well, how?
That would make sense, but how would we go about finding it?
Well, as the slimes have got a,
Hi.
my eyes have got a couple of 100-foot reach. If we make it round to the mountain, I can scatter them around the mountain and maybe find something. Should we take a wide
I'm happy
circle
to try
round
it,
and
yeah.
try it? Okay. Then we'll all head round and
Yeah.
I
Otherwise, can any of your eyes get inside the cave?
at the moment, no. But if I get to the mountain, yes. Then
Okay,
it's out of my
let's-
reach at the moment.
Let's try and head round then.
Okay, we'll head there.
So
then.
where's the what's the aim here? Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to go around the mountain so I can scatter the eyes around the mountain and see if I can get any in the cave.
So this is going up towards the mountain from where you were.
Yes.
Okay. I would like everyone to make me another stealth check then, please, because you are relatively close to the camp.
Just to double check, the plan is to not get any closer, right?
Yeah, it's not get closer.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
take a
yeah.
wide
It's,
circle
it's
round.
not getting closer. This is just taking a wide berth,
Yeah.
but there is a possible chance you might get
We,
spotted.
yeah.
N-
Cool.
Yeah, natural 20 from Romulus. Kev said she'd be right back. Yeah, she's fine.
Ugh.
Yeah, Vinny, you're having a rough day with stealth today.
Yeah, it's not going great.
For some reason, your short sword just keeps clanking against your waist, and you're not entirely sure why.
Did I put the right sword in the right sheath?
You don't know.
Possibly not. I'll check. That's a 9
No.
for me.
No, unfortunately, well, with you only had the lowest roll, but everybody else did well. Romulus getting an extra 20, so
Wow.
you
good.
otherwise pursue, continuing on as you otherwise make your way towards the edge of the mountain. Using the eyes to scout the area around, go ahead and make me a perception check. The eyes do not give you any advantage on perception check, they just inform you of every possible detail within 300-foot radius of you.
Okay. Nat 20.
Natural 20 makes sense. Also notably about the eyes is that they also prevent you from being surprised.
Oh, that's useful.
As another note, it just gives you a -5 on everything you're doing because you're not used to using this spell.
No, that's understandable.
Once you've cast it a few more times, if you ever get to that, then you are able to control it a bit better.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna be
with the
scouting
natural 20
mountain and trying to get some in the cave.
Yes. So, as you otherwise send them up and around the mountain, given that they're going to be going into the cave, I am going to quickly roll for a few of the people who are near the cave to see if they spot them. Okay. You are made aware that the individuals did spot the eyes as they flew close to the cave entrance, and they otherwise backed away as some individuals otherwise looked up and saw them, these kind of tiny dark specks that flew through the sky for a moment before headed off. You don't entirely know what reaction they were unless you wish to have it linger for a bit longer. The natural 20 for looking over the mountain itself, though, you can't see any way in. But, obviously, with that natural 20, you do gather that if there isn't a way in naturally, you could potentially carve your way in if you have anything that allows you to alter the composition of stone. Your mold earth only works on earth, on loose dirt, unfortunately, so that doesn't help there. But I'll say, given that you have the long range, you pick up that on the far left side of the camp, there is a tiny opening where there is a perceivably lack of spikes where it reaches the edge of the wall. And then there is a small gap where, if you were able to avoid the cover of the watchtower, could potentially dig under the earthworks to the edge of the cave.
And that is earth. That's dirt.
That's dirt, yeah. It's packed dirt, but it's dirt that you could use. So you could excavate 5-foot cubes of it. And given that it doesn't use any particular force, you can do so harmlessly and make a miniature tunnel. But you could potentially be seen, as there are people who are flanking either side of the tunnel. That is a potential way in.
Okay.
Other than that, you're fairly certain there's no other way in the tunnel from the mountainside itself. The cave itself, by the looks of it, seems to have been mostly excavated or made bigger from a potentially natural cave.
Okay. So there's no way up for the mountain, but this side here looks like a pretty reasonable attempt to get in.
Yeah, the other side has the same, but again, it also has another guard tower you'd have to try and navigate. But that goes behind a few more areas which you could potentially sneak past.
Hmm.
And if you had Featherfall, you could also potentially slide down and drop down. Even though it is a sheer cliff, you could still like do a little bit of a jump and Featherfall down, and provided that you roll either well enough stealth from the bottom, you could quickly sneak in, or if you took out the 2 guards silently, you could do so and then sneak in afterwards.
Yeah,
The
Cat doesn't have
guard-
silent, she has explode.
Very true.
If anyone else can do silent,
Or, hear me out now. Hear me out now. Or, Featherfall, somebody clings to the ceiling, pulls everybody in while they're falling.
that someone needs to be very, very, very strong because good luck trying to swing Romulus.
I mean, you guys are falling like feathers.
Featherfall doesn't cause people to fall like feathers. It means they don't take any damage when they hit the ground.
Yeah.
You still move 60 feet around, which is the equivalent of dashing and running. So it's like just
Really?
running downwards, effectively.
Oh, I thought it was just slow falling.
No,
No,
It does
it's,
slow your fall, but
It's slow in comparison to like traditional movement. So full speed traditionally is 200 a round, which everyone complains that isn't realistic. Yeah, I know it should be 540 a round because that's realistic, because that's terminal velocity. But anyway, I had this conversation with someone already. 200 is just being nice. So with
Okay,
with that in mind. With that in mind, it's 60 foot around, so it's a lot slower than it would be for terminal velocity, but it's still a reasonable speed. It's just you don't take any damage when you hit the ground.
I just thought it was slower falling.
No, that's alright. Slow fall from Monk allows you to do that, but that's obviously a Monk-specific thing.
I think slow fall actually doesn't
It-
slow down your descent directly.
It doesn't slow you
reduces
down, you're
fall
just-
damage.
You just keep fall down. Oh, okay, never mind then. It's
I
not slow fall then, is it?
I think for the
It's
sake
Featherfall.
I think for the sake of resources, should probably try the Mold Earth approach. Also, we can get.
Oh yeah.
in there.
Also, roll your wild magic for me, please. From when you cast the ice thing. Who knows? You could roll a 3 or lower.
I swear.
No.
No, you're fine. That's a shame. I
I
mean,
want
that's
those
good.
eyes.
No.
I need those eyes. in my
Okay.
life.
So yeah, I'm gonna. My proposal is that we do the Mold Earth thing because it can take us in and a lot less chance of us getting caught.
Oh, I had an
And
idea.
it could possibly pop up just inside the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But I have an idea.
Okay. Go
What's
for
your idea?
I'm sorry that I'm throwing this off a little bit, but we need to put your eyes on a rock. We'll have Void back.
Wait, what?
Put
We're
the
going
eyes
to
on a rock.
recreate
We'll
the
have
Lord.
Void.
Oh,
it.
took me a moment. Yeah, no, that's true.
Nice.
Sorry, I had to. But
Don't blame you.
Look, we might get Lloyd back next month. In 4 episodes, you might find him tied up in the cave. We'll have to see.
Oh,
Okay.
I hope to think that we've actually got into the cave at that point. All my days. Okay. Yeah,
Okay, I'm good
I
for the
don't
Mold
know.
Earth plan.
I'm good for the Mold
yeah,
Earth
It's just a
plan.
question of how we do it logistically. Because we'd need to
Yeah.
close distance on the camp without getting seen.
That much
Mhm.
is true. That much is very true. But I think that's probably our best plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think
It's
that's
at this point. It's
Mhm.
at this point that you watch as a dwarven fellow otherwise walks out. Large, cruel warhammer over his shoulder, over a pauldron shoulder. Otherwise, wanders out and speaks to the two guards there as you watch as one of them otherwise heads in, and he otherwise walks out and towards the main fire pit. You can see there's a number of dwarves that are always sat around the fire pit. A few of them look to be identical, which you would identify as mirror fiends. Kind of a few belly butchers otherwise hanging around the camp itself, and quite a few sludge haulers, but they're all situated in the towers themselves. As you're otherwise kind of taking note of this, he otherwise wanders up to the pod itself, and otherwise kind of shouts something out before you watch as the others begin to kind of gather, and he begins to kind of just do general talks to them. Before you watch as the wagon otherwise comes back out of the cave, is empty now, and he points at a number of other dwarves, and otherwise points off to them, and then shouts something off in another language, and you watch as a few of the belly butchers and sludge haulers begin to move out the wagon as it begins to leave the camp.
Okay.
Yeah, numbers about 12 to 15 of them, all heading out with this wagon, and the two large beasts of burden otherwise pulling it ahead of them.
Do a large number of them have, or a hefty chunk of them have left the camp?
Yeah. If we're going to act, I mean, it'll take them a little while, but now would be a good time to get started.
Okay.
So, is there anything anyone can do to disguise our approach, or is there anything anyone can do to create a distraction?
I don't really have anything to help.
I have thaumaturgy, but the range is only 30 feet. So it might more so bring attention towards us.
I mean, depends how perceptive they are, and it may give us away. But I could potentially send Jeff round to the south side of the camp, let him be seen, and instantly snap him back to me.
It's at this point, Kat, that your eyes watch as the dwarven individual otherwise walks back towards the entrance of the cave. The guard otherwise pulling what looks to be this large chain over his shoulder as he otherwise leaves, as this large bird beak snaps out towards him as he kind of ducks before it otherwise looks out a bit more. You see this long kind of black feathered bird, kind of this very long vulture-like neck, what looks to be almost 8 or 10 eyes covering its entire head, as it otherwise just kind of blinkingly, independently looks out and scans the area around it, as it otherwise looks down towards the main dwarf, who otherwise grabs a small hook on the side and pulls himself up into this kind of large metallic saddle on its back, before it spreads out these large kind of almost leathery wings with feathers running along the main limbs or bones of it. As it flaps its two wings, begins to take off, the chain kind of dangling below it. As it soars up into the sky, begins to kind of screech and climb, heading up the mountain.
Okay. As he goes up, I want to
Mhm.
focus all eyes on him. Is there any
Okay.
signs of black slime on this guy?
Make me a perception check. I'll say with advantage because you have 22 eyes currently looking at him. 24 if you want to count Jeff, but he's feeling a bit impotent at the moment.
Ooh,
Can't say I think I'm feeling a bit impotent at the moment.
Looking at it, the majority of it's black. Like, it's got black feathers, it's got black skin, it's got a near black beak. The eyes are of like an inky, milky color to it, with kind of these tiny black pupil centers. The dwarven individual has the kind of the two deep kind of black smoking cracks along that go run through his eyes from his cheekbones up into his head and then down his neck, and they just kind of give off this shadowy smoke that otherwise rises from his head as he otherwise coasts off and up the mountain, flying upwards. As he does, you kind of watch as he takes off, and then the camp proceeds to go back to what it normally was doing.
Interesting. Okay. I'll point to him with Sarchania. What do you think about the vibes with that guy? Getting anything?
In what sense?
Sort of like, is there anything? Because Sarchania obviously knows the slime. Her whole being is for that. Is the arm or Sarchania getting anything from that guy?
Yes. A heavy radiation from it.
Cool.
You get a sense, I'll say, with the natural 20 I rolled, you get a sense that both the creature and him are connected, and they both contain a same portion of the essence, similar to you and your arm. The two are seemingly connected somehow. To what end, you are otherwise unsure, but the individual seems to be some form of ringleader of this group.
Okay.
And they've just taken off for who knows how long.
Oh. And I was getting the same... That's not good. How big a chunk has this guy got? Alright. So, that I believe was the leader. And he has the same, from what I can get, amount of power as me. Don't know how much of it he has access to. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to beat the leader. Like at all. If anything, we might have to get the prisoners out and just get out of here as quick as we can.
Technically, that was the goal to begin with.
Mm. I mean, if that is going to be the plan, then if he's out and a bunch of the troops are out, as soon as possible would be the best time.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So, are we all agreed on going with the Mold Earth plan?
I am, yes.
It's just a question of how we're going to distract the guard tower.
I can do something with Jeff, but I'm gonna have to be quick because I can't risk losing
him. I was going to suggest that we do this next week.
Yeah, I was going to say,
This is
do we want to have that conversation when we get Romulus back?
we've got the entire
Yeah,
thing.
we'll have Harlan.
Okay. Okay. So, for the stream, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We will see you next week when hopefully we'll have everybody here again. Then they will formulate a entrance and quote-unquote heist plan. We shall see. So, thank you for watching. Hopefully